It's about the metaphor that sports has for life. I mean, sports is the greatest metaphor we have in terms of dealing with life. Because, even if you listen to music will give you guidance, right? That you can then meditate on and think about how you would apply it. In sports, you have to apply it in the here and now. I mean, you're faced with challenges moment to moment. You're faced with pressures and anxiety and communication or the lack thereof and all this other stuff. Like, it's in the moment. So you have to live it. And when you practice those things, you become better at it. But I just feel like in this day and age, our children have become less imaginative about how to problem solve. And parents and coaches have become more directive in trying to mandate or give orders or teach kids how to think and teach kids how to behave and tell them how to behave versus teaching them how to behave. It speaks for itself in terms of what that comment did for me, in terms of giving me stability and giving me confidence to say, okay, it's okay to fail because you're going to be loved no matter what. And that doesn't just mean basketball. That means anything in life. That means writing. That means being an entrepreneur. That means having the confidence to go for it. And I've seen too many parents do the exact opposite. And it terrifies children. And children become paralyzed by their own fear because they don't have that security blanket of love and comfort. What I try to do is just try to be still and understand that things come and go. Emotions come and go. The important thing is to accept them all, to embrace them all, and then you can choose to do with them what you want versus being controlled by emotion. A lot of times I've seen players, even myself, when I was younger, being consumed by a particular fear, and to the point where you're saying, okay, it's not good to feel fear. I shouldn't be nervous in this situation. And it does nothing but grow. Versus stepping back and saying, I am nervous about the situation. Yeah, I am fearful about the situation. Well, what am I afraid of? And then you kind of unpack it. And then it gives you the ability to look at it for really what it is, which is nothing more than your imagination running its course, It's not really a thing, Like you think about game-winning shots or game-winning free throws, and people go to the free throw line and they're nervous about it. Well, what are you really nervous about? If you unpack that, okay, you're nervous that you're going to miss the shot. All right, so you missed the shot, then what happens? People are going to be embarrassed. You're going to be embarrassed because thousands of people, millions of people see you miss the shot. All right, and then what? People are going to talk bad about you. Okay, right? And so you're looking at it and go, are those things even important? You know what I mean? If that is my fear, like what is, you worried about letting your teammates down? Okay, have you let them down before? Well, I'm sure, in practice and things of that nature, right? They're still there. Yeah. And so when you're able to unpack it, you kind of look at it for what it is, which is really nothing.
Yeah, I love that. Breaking it down. I think that's so important. I think everyone who's listening and watching right now, next time you're facing a fear, next time you're going against something, do that. Like literally unpack it. Don't just settle for your first answer, because the first answer is rarely the right one.
Yeah, don't hide from it. You got to be able to look at it and, and deal with it head on. You grow up and you make game-winning shots and it's awesome. You come back the next day and miss a game-winning shot and it's misery. And then the next day comes and you're back playing again. And you understand that life has this cyclical nature where it's, what you do on Monday, it's fantastic, but then Tuesday is a bad day. But guess what? There's Wednesday. Yeah. So are we just supposed to live our lives like this the whole time? Versus just staying like this and understanding that it's really just a journey of evolution. Every day is just constant improvement, constant curiosity, constantly getting better. The results don't really matter. It's the figuring out that matters.
Yeah. And we all get obsessed about the results.
Yeah.
Like we get obsessed about like the output, not the input, of not figuring it out and not like changing things. What you said, trial and error, like the experimenting. Yeah. We forget to do that.
It's unfortunate, man. Like I've seen a lot of players, especially now, in youth basketball, dealing with that. You have players that are like bigger and faster and stronger, and their coaches are just coaching them for results. We're just going to use your size because you're bigger than every other 12-year-old out there to dominate today. But they're not growing, right? So they're just based on that result, but they're not focused on growing this young child into becoming a better athlete. And through that, teaching them how to become a more well-rounded person. And we're missing that. Well, I had to do that because, I growing up in Italy, when I first moved over there, it was, I didn't speak Italian. I didn't have any friends. You know, I had the game of basketball, and through sport and playing soccer, I was able to make friends and build connections. But it was a lot of time spent alone. And when I came back to the States, I wasn't the most athletic kid. You know, I was really scrawny, like really, really skinny, and had like major knee issues because I was growing. So I was the dorky kid with high socks and big old knee pads.
It's fashionable now.
It's fashionable now. It wasn't then. It wasn't then. And so I had to look long term, because in the here and now, I couldn't compete with these kids. I mean, there was kids that were like 12 years old with beards. Like, I can't, what am I supposed to do with that? Like, they're doing windmills and dunking backwards, and I'm happy to like tap the backboard, you know? So I had to look at it from a long term, because I wasn't going to give up on the game.
Right.
So I had to say, okay, this year, I'm going to get better at that. Next year, this, and then so forth and so on. And then patiently, I was able to catch them. I feel like a lot of parents are missing today because we're not teaching that to our kids. We tend to say like kids don't want to do the work, but in reality, it's when we're failing them because we're not leading them the right way and teaching them, you know, how to fish. You know what I mean? And so like the consistency of work, Monday, get better. Tuesday, get better. Wednesday, get better, right? And you do that over a period of time, you know, not like 1 month or 2 months. I mean, it's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years. And then you can get to where you want to go. Like, I expected us to win championships. I expected us to win 5. Quite honestly, I expected us to win 8. And so when you have that vision in sports, it's a direct competition. Like, I know how hard they're working. I know how hard we're working. I know what their strategy is. I know what ours is, you know? So it's a little different. So when we went in the NBA, it was like, yeah, we expected to do that. But now we're going to come back and we're going to do it again, you know? And so it's that constant, like, all right, you're churning. You win one championship, I'm back in the gym the next day, working, getting ready for the next one. Now, it's different because it's not about the awards. You know, you just wind up trying to create something that's going to inspire someone that hopefully, you know, through that inspiration, they can inspire somebody else. And what I've come to learn as my career went on is that's more significant than any championship. Is how do you connect with somebody that can then connect with another? And then whether the awards come or not, you know, that's for, you know, the Academy Award body to decide. Yeah. But, you know, like for us, it's just to try to create things. Yeah, like, you know, you're out running on the track, working out, and you start talking to yourself saying, man, my knee is really sore right now. Maybe I'm doing too much. Sounds like me. Maybe I need to back off, you know. Man, my lungs are burning. Maybe I can just slow down here. I'll do like an extra 2 sets tomorrow. You know, it'll be okay. Yeah. Right? That sort of stuff. Yes. Like that stuff's dangerous. Yes. And that's when you just got to say, you know what? I'm not negotiating with myself. Yeah. The deal was already made. The deal was made. When I set out at the beginning of the summer and said, this is the training plan I'm doing, I signed that contract with myself. I'm doing it. You know, throughout that process, you'll start talking to yourself like, man, I think I need to, maybe if we, nope. Ultimately, people always figure out a way to do it that's comfortable for them. But like, you know, which is why in everything that we do, we try to create the highest quality of product, right? Like, you know, people will sit down and tell me, they'll say, okay, well, audiobooks, a very small percentage of people listen to audiobooks. We don't really have to invest too much in doing audiobooks. And what? Excuse me? No, because what if that one person just listens to audiobooks? That one family enjoys audiobooks. They have to get the best experience that I could possibly give them. So that means using a London orchestra. That means doing full symphonies. That means having Felicia Rashad read the stories. Like, it means everything. The books themselves. I got this all the time. There's no money in making books, man. Nobody makes money in books. And I'm sorry, you want to make a book with using what material? You know, like, you know, I'm like, yeah, because children matter. So like, I don't know how they're going to, I imagine how they're going to be consuming content. But ultimately it's my responsibility and our responsibility as a studio to make every single thing that we put out the highest quality possible. Yeah. When I first made the Peonies, we're going to release it in the summer. I think we released it in August. I think it was August, around the same time. But in my mind, I was saying, okay, parents are going to listen to this every Saturday morning because I know I'm in the car driving my kids to soccer games and like, you know, volleyball games and stuff. So parents can listen to this with their kids in the car as they're driving to sporting events. Like that was kind of what I had in my mind. And then when it came out, it's like, teachers were using it more so than anybody in classrooms and doing like classroom reports on the Punies and all sorts of stuff. So, there's a certain element of truth in everything, and, the creativity generally comes from personal experiences first. And then you kind of look on a broader scope of, okay, how do you take something extremely personal and then channel it in a way for masses to understand or get their arms around, sort of thing. But it always starts in the element of truth, and then you start unpacking that by sitting in thought and figuring out like character and who is this person and who's his family, and then that's when I start getting in trouble. Because it's like the questions don't end.
Yeah.
So I have like books and 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 books of backstory, because it's not good enough just to say the character's this way.
Yeah.
Why are they that way?
Yes.
Well, the parents. Well, where do the parents come from? Where's the dad come from? Why are they raising a kid this way? And then, what does it have to do with the economy that's around them? And then, just one thing leads to the next, and then you're just writing all kinds of stuff. Yeah. Well, like creativity is in everything, like even in consistent, like what I found is creativity a lot of time comes from structure.
I agree. I'm so glad you said that.
Like you have those parameters and the structure, then within that you can be creative. But like if you don't have the structure, you're just aimlessly doing stuff. Where are you going? So like having a clear structure of understanding, okay, this morning I'm going to, like when I was writing a Wizard Art series and outlining Legacy, I come in the morning, 7 a.m. and I'm there. I'm writing backstory from 7 to 12. Then I go pick up my kids, and then I come right back and I'm writing again. So like within that structure, my mind when I go to sleep is already like planning of what the next day is going to be, because I know, what it is I have to do. It's that consistency and structure, and so people think it just comes out of nowhere.
Yeah.
You got to like obsess over it for a while, and then it kind of pops loose.
Absolutely. Yeah. You had to plant the seed well before to see the fruit.
Yeah. And you got to water it all the time, man. Like you got to sit down and watch other shows that are out there, and like, and then ultimately you just find, like when the answer comes to you, it's like, my God, I could have thought of that on the first day, and figure out everything that's wrong with the idea.
Ooh, okay.
Right? This show won't work because, like Detail, for example, is like, this show won't work because it's not for fans. It's for the 1% athlete.
Yeah.
All right. Well, will it be successful? People connect to it? Like, you just start unpacking every little thing. How will we shoot it? Can I even get Peyton Manning to do it? Could I get, And you start shooting them down. Same thing with the novels, like characters and plots and stories. Does this make any sense? No. Here's why. Pop, 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 pop. And I felt like that really helps me. Yeah, obsessiveness just comes from something that you love. Like you really love it. You'll go through fire for it. You'll go through the ups and downs with it, and you'll just keep at it because you love it so much. And story for me started a long time ago. I had a great English teacher at Lower Merion High School named Jane Mastriano. And she explained to me the art of storytelling my sophomore year. And that's where I started falling in love with it and understanding story structure, how to develop compelling characters, and how stories are the driving force, whether they're inspirational or informational, that really change society.
You can be mentored by people who aren't alive.
100%, because their stories still live, which brings us to the importance of storytelling.
Yeah.
Their stories still live. These muses are here. It's important to learn from them. And if anything, it helps you remember that they are human, just like us.
Yeah.
These great things that get accomplished can be accomplished by others and beyond. Building Walt Disney Company is not something that, people look at and scoff at and go, oh, it can't be done anymore. Well, why not? Why not?
Yeah. And the more action you take, the more you think is possible.
Yeah, because you realize there are people just like us. They make mistakes just like us. And they kept going.